Welcome to Spotlight on the Arts. Hello, I'm Iris Acker, and I am your host this evening. Let's meet our panel. First up, award-winning actress Karen Stevens, and Dan Clancy, playwright, who is understudying Michael McKeever, who couldn't be here today, and Bill Hirschman, who is an arts journalist. I like saying that, arts journalist. Our guest today, say hello to Dr. Dan Barnard, Associate Dean of Cultural Affairs and Director of Bailey Hall. That's a mouthful. Welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Yes, so it's a very prestigious job, and Bailey Hall is a beautiful facility. You agree?
I do agree.
Okay.
That's good.
First, let's start with the history. The history of Bailey Hall.
Well, let me tell you, we're in our 38th year at Bailey Hall.
That's a lot.
Broward Center just celebrated their 25th, and we're coming up on our 40th. So to give you a little perspective, the hall has been the home. It was the home to traveling Broadway shows when it was first built. Tons of celebrities have been there over the years. And then more recently, it got renovated 3 years ago, right in time for the fan gate debate, if you may remember that one. A lot of people remember its old red seats, and now the front of house is all beautiful new blue. It's really stunning looking now. And then now, so this is our third year back since the renovation.
We should say up front where you're located, what campus you're on, et cetera.
Bailey Hall located, good question, because I always meet people that don't know about us.
No.
We're located on the Davie campus of Broward College, just south of 595, easy to get to, free parking.
Davie Road.
Davie Road.
Okay, why did I think that Bailey Hall was a BCC campus off of Broward
Off of Broward.
Boulevard?
The
No?
BC campus is south of 595.
Yeah, and I performed there. You know, a long time ago. It's probably why I don't remember exactly where it is. But
Now,
yeah.
what did you perform in? I was just going to ask, do they host, mostly are you known as a host facility?
We do. We host a lot of rental events and visiting events. We host a lot of our internal events from the Visual and Performing Arts Department. But we have a 20-show season of shows that we produce.
Yeah.
I was in a Jackie Warner touring production of Chicago with the original Fosse choreography,
How
which
nice.
was really, yeah.
So-
What I
really
found amazing, I read a lot about about Bailey. Not only do you do like 200 performances a year, but the variety of programs, there's dance, there's music, there's drama, there's speeches, there's cinema. So I really have two questions. Okay? The first one is, how were the groups brought to you, to your attention? And then the second thing is, once you have selected a group, what is the process of getting them from here to the stage of Bailey?
Yeah, what you're asking about is the thing that I'm most passionate about. The programming, who plays here, is the thing that I go to sleep every night thinking about. I don't know how other people do it, but I'm very much like to hire things that I've seen before. So I go to all the conferences. I go to the APAP conference in New York. I go to the regional conference. If there's someone that I'm interested in, I'll use my travel money to go hear them somewhere so that I can see. And then there's this whole dance between myself and all of the other regional presenters so that they can come as a tour. So I have to find other partners within a reasonable distance away from us that are interested in the same things at the same times, and then it kind of routes together. And so it's all of these moving parts that congeal over the course of several months into a season.
Certainly diverse. Jazz, opera. Oh, and you have a film series now.
The film series is one of the coolest things we do because the filmmaker comes with it. So after the film, we have a conversation with them.
Nice.
I tell my audiences, if the film is great, then you can ask them about, how'd you do this? How was that? If the film is terrible, you can say to them, "What were you thinking?" It works either way.
Is there a unifying theme or a particular audience that you're trying to go for, or is it we are trying to be all things to all people?
No, we aren't trying to be everything to everyone. We studied who is around us a lot when I first came, and because we feel like we need to have our own niche. And our brand standards are hip, smart, engaging, authentic. Those are the things that we live by. Authentic is really the key one for me. One thing we'll never do, as long as I'm there, is a tribute show. It's not, I mean, by definition, it's not authentic. I don't mind, I'm not going to speak ill of my neighbors who do that. Sometimes smaller halls feel like they can do that because it's cheaper. And I think it's bad for the industry. And I have said so publicly. I wrote an article about this because it's just diluting the product, and it's an imitation product passed off as a real product. So anyway, I don't mean to get off sidetracked.
Well, are there 2 or 3 things you can mention that you go, this encapsulates exactly what we wanted to go after?
What we do are things that are intriguing and engaging. Authentic and engaging mostly those are the 2 primary ones. We do a series of shows that engage people with big visuals and live performance at the same time. We did March of the Penguins live showed the movie with the live orchestra. We did a couple of puppet shows now where the puppetry is produced live on camera. The audience sees the show above them, but they can see the making of the show as it happens, which is perfect for a millennial audience that has no attention span.
But getting the people there, I think, advertising, I do see an ad now and then, and I'm on a list, so I get emails, but not enough people know what's going on.
This takes a while to develop, especially in this market, which is so massive. I cannot possibly saturate it. And when we do, this is even because of how we program, the people who come to our shows come from every possible direction. When I do a zip code map of who came to our shows, there's 2 and 3 people from every zip code that we have. How am I going to market to that?
Right. Well, I would concentrate on the one that, of course, you have the most zip code attendance from. You have student workshops. That's what I like. A student workshop, student performances. Tell me about that.
So that's 2 different things. One of our primary mission is to serve the Visual and Performing Arts Department at Broward College. And so that's why we include music, theater, dance, and film in our series. That's why we're so because we teach classes in those areas. And so those are excellent. The student performances are very high quality. The dance performances that she does are just awesome. The orchestra's great. The band does a very, very good job. So all of those happen as a matter of course in our hall. But what we also do is that when we bring in professionals, I always just add to their contract that they're going to do a workshop for those students. So those students get to see individual attention from professionals, and then they come to the show and see them plying their trade in our hall. It's a very,
master classes. I know.
Yeah, it's just a very, very good educational opportunity for them.
What are the most popular programs that you produce?
Yeah, what brings in the most?
We just started a collaboration with South Florida Jazz that I got tired of competing against him. Because every time I would talk to an agent about somebody, they're like, well, we're already talking to Dr. Weber. And so we decided that we'd just collaborate. And it brings, it's really a win-win thing, because what we bring is a lot more seats. There's room to grow. What they bring to us is a ready-made audience. And it's a true 50-50 collaboration. We both share on the programming. Ron and I have really similar tastes, so it's not taxing at all to either of us to do it that way.
And how large is the house?
The house is almost 1,100 seats, 1068.
And it's set up very beautifully. The outside is beautiful. We saw pictures of it. I think we have a photo of the interior as well.
You know what happened in the renovation when it was built 38 years ago? It was continental style seating, so there was no aisles. If you wanted to sit in the middle, you had to step over 49 people to get there. And so when they did the renovations, they put in aisles.
They create a-
But what we gained when it's continental seating, you have more leg room because it's counting on people stepping over. Now we have aisles and we have leg room. It's a wonderful.
Works for Parker Playhouse.
Yeah.
No aisle theater because they have the room in between seats between.
You have to plan it that way.
Yeah.
So, but now we have the best of both worlds now.
You also have an educational outreach program. Is it in the community?
We do less of that than we used to, because the Broward Center, as part owners of the school district, is a part owner of the Broward Center. A lot of their resources get funneled there, and the busing is really the big bailiwick there, and the fact that the SEAS program allows for busing, we have mostly allowed the Broward Center to take care of that. We do some family-friendly shows. We have some, and whenever we do, like this year we had a couple of Shakespeare productions, and Hamlet. We did Hamlet, and the schools study Hamlet, so we make sure that they know about it. We did sell some group sales to schools to come out and watch a professional production of that. So it is, but it's not as much as we used to. We used to have a lot of daytime shows, and we're doing less of that now.
So real quick, is Bailey Hall separate from Broward Community College, or is it?
It is not its own 501c3.
Okay.
They have actually. There were some benefits if we were to do that, but no, it is a part of Broward College
okay.
and supported in large part by college money.
Okay. I was just curious about
yeah.
that.
My question.
Yeah.
But I want to go another step further. Financially, do you take contributions from patrons and the public, or how dependent are you on ticket sales? Does the college itself subsidize and underwrite the performance? What percentages do that fall in?
Well, first of all, the answer to all of those is yes. We do have sponsorships. We have a membership program, and those, because of our financial structure, get routed through the Broward College Foundation and then back to us, because the college can't take donations directly. The college, I do have a budget that funds a lot of what we do, and then, of course, we sell every ticket that we can.
But, like, for instance, what percentage of your operating budget do you think is ticket sales as opposed to something else?
Yeah, it's not, I'm sorry, I don't know that number offhand. We want it to be more as we grow, because we're building our audience back from, before the renovation, there was a period of about 8 years where they did not present anything in kind of a cost-cutting measure.
Wow.
And so a lot of people remember those dark years, and they remember how the hall was before, when paint was literally flaking off onto people during the shows.
That's good. Let's
so
talk
it's
about
taken us a
Dr.
while.
Dan Barnard. Transitioning to this position, why? Let's go back.
Transitioning from my previous job or from my previous...
Well, let's just talk about, let's go way back.
So
Let's go back.
let me tell you how I got into this business, because it never was on my radar. I never intended to do this. I went to school as a composer, and
Wow.
had my doctorate in composition. I was writing music, and if I could earn a living writing music, I would do that even to this day. I love that. But there's like 2 jobs a year for that. And so all of us do something else. And what I did was to spend about 20 years as a choral director at colleges in Pennsylvania, Nebraska, and South Dakota. But when I took my first postdoctoral job at the University or at Penn State, they said, well, we want you to do this chamber music series as part of your job. So I ran a chamber music series, and it opened up this whole world of presenting that I had no idea existed. For me, it's the same, it is literally the same skill that I use as a composer when I'm choosing what note, or how's an audience gonna react to what I write. Now I'm thinking, how's an audience gonna react to what show I give them? It is just It is the exact same skill on a different level entirely. And I would have never made that connection. I never even knew this existed. So then it took me a long time to actually get the job that I wanted because I was in the wrong place. I was a university professor and trying to make a transition to a venue manager, and people did not really see it as I did. So it took a long time, it took almost 10 years to get the job that I wanted. That job was in Texas. I opened up a brand new hall on the Texas border with Mexico, a $28 million facility directly on the Mexican border. It was very cool to live there. The food in that town is unbelievable. And then this is just odd. It's just wrong, right place, wrong time. That was a collaborative venture with the University of Texas at Brownsville and Texas Southmost College. And over the course of the 3 years that I worked there, that collaboration fell apart, and they decided to be two separate institutions. My building was owned and had been funded by the community college, but was really serving the university mission. And so we were all gone. There was in the transition like 250 people got their pink slips on a single day. So then that was what led me to come here. The fact that I needed a job.
And not composing at all anymore?
I am some, and I have a couple of pieces that I have a couple of pieces published, but I have one that I really want to work on getting it more air, a major choral work that I'm in the process of developing materials so I can go to the ACDA convention in Kansas City a year from now and have a booth and try to market that. So I'm working on that a little bit.
For all the programs that you brought to Bailey, what was the most fulfilling one for you?
You know, I think what we're doing in the realm of these multimedia shows, when we did Ada Ava, a show from Chicago that is produced by 3 overhead projectors and these transparencies combined with a live actor who you see as a shadow. And they go through they flip through these projectors in such a compelling way. It is purposely low tech, but it's a really high-tech result. And then the actress works on in front of that, and the whole thing, it gets captured by a camera on the back of the stage and broadcast above. So you can watch the show, or you can watch them make the show, you can watch the musicians playing it all live. That is just a really compelling way to watch an art form. I think we're the only ones that are really doing that. Although that company did play in Miami, one of their other productions, just a few months before we had them. And so they've been here a little bit. But that is the thing I think that we do that other people aren't doing. And I'm really intrigued by opening us up to those kind of shows.
What is particularly difficult about the job that you think, I wish people realized there's this aspect of it that is what keeps me up at night?
By far, the most difficult part of my job is the marketing, is to try to get our word out to the people who would like to come to our shows.
What are you doing now towards that end? What kinds of methods are you using?
We have just, I think, quintupled our budget for marketing.
Wow.
It is.
Okay.
We use a combination of public relations and advertising. There's a big spread of some print, a lot of digital advertising, some radio. We try to get on TV shows like this one.
And here you are.
And here I am. It's a difficult area to market in because it is there's so many people here. You would think that sounds counterproductive, but that is in fact the truth.
Well, I know you're not a one-man band, so let's talk about those that do help you. I mean, you have hired a press, Savannah Whaley's firm.
They are great for us, and then we have another firm helps us with our ads.
That's your marketing.
Right.
Okay, now we have?
So we have Savannah is the PR. We have Green, or now they just changed their names, Pace. Does our advertising buys.
Okay.
We advertise on public radio quite a bit, and we advertise a lot on social media.
Yeah, I was
and
going to
on,
ask if you have your social media.
By far the best thing for us is our email campaign, which oddly is the thing that costs me nothing.
Yeah.
But those are regular, repeat people that come back, and that is growing every single month.
But I think individually, the opera advertises that they are at Bailey Hall. Individually, each show that you host does advertising
yes.
as well. So you don't have to do it for them, it seems.
Well, the ones that we present ourselves, we do.
Yes.
That is our job.
That-
You're right. The ones that we operate as a rental do their own advertising.
I'm curious when you're talking about marketing. For my site, Florida Theater on Stage, we find that we love social media, and it's great, but you're already reaching a converted audience. And the same with your email campaign. How have you guys tried to broaden your reach to people who, as you say, don't know you're there, or
Yeah.
you want them to be interested and they go, oh yeah, that sounds interesting?
Well,
What
we
do you
keep
do?
we keep changing it every year. We keep tweaking it as we go, trying to find some combination that is effective and cost effective. It's tricky though. It's
Has
not,
anything particularly worked that you go, oh, that's good?
It's hard to tell. We ask everybody that buys a ticket. I ask them. The system asks them, how did you find out about us? And that gives us some information, but it's still very, very difficult to really see what works and what works. I think our digital marketing is probably the best thing going for us right now. That is, you might see us a Facebook ad for us. Then it'll generate an email to those people who clicked on the ad, and then later on it will send them a follow-up. It's a very sophisticated thing. Do you know what they can do? This is interesting. They can do, I forget the name for it, but they can capture the number of people who are in a particular vicinity at a particular time. So if I know that someone is going to a concert similar to a concert I'm having, they can somehow fence those people who are at that concert, and I can market to them later on with my stuff. It's scary.
That's
Yeah,
the way to do
scary.
it.
Yeah.
I thought
That's
you were
the
going
way
to say
to
they
do
can
it.
fence them and then
No,
bring
no.
them over to your.
We can
Let's
collect
talk
that
about
information.
our viewing audience. And let's assume they really are not into Bailey Hall. They just learning right now. So you have a website? Because, I mean, that's what I would encourage everybody to do.
Absolutely. BaileyHall.org.
.org. O-R-G.
O-R-G.
Yes, okay. That's number one. We'll bring that up. And the season. Will your website state the season?
It will, and we're almost ready to announce this year's season. It's going to be unbelievable. We are doing a couple of things that we think will make us impossible to ignore. I'll tell you in general terms what we're doing. My general artist fee is in the maybe 15 to 20 range. 15 to 20,000 is what we generally spend. For next year, we're doing a couple of less shows, and for 2 of those shows, we're up in that to like 30 to 35 range. So the people that we're going to bring in are people that when I say their name, you will instantly recognize who they are. And we think that will help us cut through the chatter that people, when they hear that, when I advertise for Ada Ava, a show that nobody knows about, even though it's the coolest thing on the planet, they still don't know what it is. It takes a really adventurous person to come to something like that. When we advertise for the ones that we're bringing in next year, it's going to be
How
a
far
whole
in
different
advance
thing.
do you prep this? I mean, I know the ARST is working sometimes 2 and 3 years in advance. How about you
Yeah,
guys?
same. We have something set for 1920 already. We have 1819 almost in the can, except for there's 1 or 2 loose ends that keep popping up on me. But we're just about ready to announce it. And the idea is that I can sell subscription packages all summer, and then we can sell individual seats starting in the middle summer.
Again, where you are on Davie Road
Cannot be more convenient.
between Griffin and 595.
That is correct.
So just they know, there's a rodeo that happens down the road as well. So maybe those fans
Well,
recognize Bailey Hall.
Iris, one of the people that I'm not going to tell you who is specifically targeted at that rodeo audience. You will, any rodeo fans are going to jump all over this one.
Okay, I want to get you emails too, because you said, you know, a wonderful way to advertise. So they'll go to your website. And how do they get on your email list?
There's a button right there that says join our mailing list. We thought of that.
No, I'm glad to hear that. And I say, we've had the Carbonell Awards at Bailey Hall, and I can't say that it's convenient. That's another word. It's convenient for the people here to go there, to go to the Miniachi Theater, am I right, also?
It's close to us. It's just
Which
around
is
the corner.
close by.
Sure.
Broward College, and parking.
Parking's free.
Free parking, very
Parking's
important.
free. For my shows, you can come in, you can get a cappuccino on our $4,000 machine, and you can take it in and drink it in the hall like a civilized audience.
right.
It's a lovely experience.
Dan, of all the things that you do, what part of your job do you like the best?
Well, I think I said this earlier. The part that I live for is choosing the shows, is trying to get the season just right and balanced and just the right artistic thing. It's the best job in the world.
That's
nice.
I hate to say it, that's it. But again, I'll emphasize for my audience to go to that website, www.baileyhall.org, and get on your email list. Let's get people to Bailey Hall.
And they can follow us on Facebook as well. That's a good...
And Facebook, very, very important. Well, thank you, Dan. Thank you for joining us.
It's been delightful to have
Really.
to be here. Thank you very much.
And I'd like to thank our panel. Thank you, Karen Stevens. Thank you, Dan Clancy. Thank you, Bill Hirschman. And thank you. And if you want to know what's going on in all of South Florida theater, go to floridatheateronstage.com. And please continue to watch us every week right here on Spotlight on the Arts.